Life is a very patient teacher. It does not rush to expose people. It waits, watching, while you build your dreams, your relationships, your trust. And just when you least expect it, it lifts the veil and lets you see who was real and who was just pretending. When that moment comes, it is not always pleasant. It is like standing under a bright light after being in the dark for too long, it hurts the eyes. You wonder, how could I not see this before? But this is how life works. You are only shown the truth when you are ready to handle it. Some people come into our lives wearing masks. They smile, they speak sweet words, they act as if they care. But behind it all, there is no real substance. And one day, without warning, the mask falls. Not because you forced it, no, God does not work through force, God works through time. He lets things unfold so that when the truth arrives, it is undeniable. Now when you see the deception, you have two choices. One, you can react, shout, fight, feel betrayed. But what does that do? It only burns you from the inside. Or two, you can observe, just watch, learn, smile even, because now you have something precious clarity. Many people ask, why does God allow fake people in our lives at all? But have you considered this, if you never encountered the false, how would you recognize the real? If you never face deception, how would you know the value of truth? The bitter is needed to appreciate the sweet. Life does not rush to reveal everything at once. It moves at its own pace, like the slow rising of the sun. In the early morning when you look outside, you see only shadows, the trees, the buildings, the roads, they are all there, but you cannot see them clearly. But as the sun climbs higher, the light spreads, and suddenly what was once hidden becomes visible. This is how truth works. It does not strike like lightning, it unfolds like the morning light, revealing things only when the time is right. Many times we are eager to know who is real and who is not. We want immediate clarity, instant justice and quick answers. But life does not function on a timeline, it waits. It allows situations to develop, people to reveal themselves and circumstances to ripen. The reason is simple, if we see the truth too soon, we may not be ready to handle it. We may not have the wisdom, the strength or the understanding to process what is being revealed. Imagine a fruit on a tree. If you pick it too early, it is sour and hard. It does not give you the nourishment it was meant to. But if you wait, if you allow time to do its work, a fruit ripens. It becomes sweet, and when you finally taste it, it fulfills its purpose. Truth is the same way, it comes to you when you are ready to digest it, not before. How often have we looked back and thought, I should have seen it earlier. The signs were there. But the truth is we did not see it earlier because we were not meant to. Our attachment, our emotions and our desires kept us from recognizing what was right in front of us. The moment we detach and allow life to take its course, the fog lifts and clarity comes naturally. Sometimes we try to force the truth to appear. We investigate, we overanalyze, we push for answers. But have you noticed that the harder you chase something, the more it seems to slip away? The truth is not something to be hunted. It is something that arrives when the time is right. It is like water, if you stir a muddy pond, it does not become clear. But if you wait, the mud settles and the water becomes still and transparent. So if you feel uncertain, if you sense that someone may not be who they claim to be, do not rush to expose them. Do not force the truth to come before its time. Just watch, observe, let life do what it does best, reveal everything in perfect timing. The day will come when their own actions, their own words and their own choices will speak louder than anything you could have uncovered. Pain is something most of us try to avoid. We run from it, resist it and even curse it when it arrives. But if we look deeply, we will see that pain is not the enemy, it is a messenger. It is the doorway through which awareness enters our lives. Without pain, we remain asleep, lost in comfort and illusion, unaware of what is truly happening around us. Think about this, when everything in life is going smoothly, we do not stop to question much. We move through life as if on autopilot, assuming that things will always remain the same. But pain disrupts this illusion. It shakes us awake. It forces us to stop, to reflect, and to ask what is really happening here. Pain brings clarity. It reveals the truth that we were too distracted or too comfortable to see. Imagine someone who trusts blindly, believing that every smiling face is genuine. They never question people's intentions because they have never been hurt, but then one day they are betrayed. Someone they trusted turns out to be false. The pain of that betrayal is sharp, almost unbearable. But in that very moment, something profound happens, awareness is born. They start to see with new eyes. They become more discerning, more observant, more conscious of the energies around them. What they once ignored, they now notice. The pain has opened a doorway within them, a doorway that leads to wisdom. This is why suffering exists not to break us, but to wake us up. Every painful experience, whether it is heartbreak, loss or disappointment, is an invitation to grow. It is life telling us, look deeper. There is something here for you to learn. Think about the times in your life when pain changed you. Did it not make you stronger, wiser, more aware? The people who have never faced hardship, who have never known suffering, remain naive. They do not understand the depth of life because they have never been forced to explore it. But those who have suffered, those who have walked through fire, come out with an awareness that cannot be taught in any school or book. Pain humbles us, it removes our illusions, our arrogance and our false beliefs. It forces us to see things as they truly are. It strips away the unnecessary and leaves us with only what is real. This is why in many spiritual traditions, suffering is seen as sacred. The greatest masters, the wisest souls have all walked through pain. They did not escape it, they embraced it. They used it as a tool to sharpen their awareness. So the next time you face pain, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of resisting it, sit with it, feel it fully. Let it do its work. Because once pain has done its job, it does not stay. It moves on, leaving behind a new version of you, stronger, wiser and more awake than before. Pain is not here to destroy you. It is here to transform you. It is the doorway to a greater awareness, if only you are willing to walk through it. Attachment is like a veil over our eyes. It does not allow us to see things as they truly are. Instead, we see what we want to see, what makes us feel comfortable, what fits into the story we have created in our minds. And because of this, we often miss the truth that is right in front of us. Think about it, when you deeply care about someone, you are less likely to notice their faults. If they lie, you might excuse it. If they hurt you, you might justify it, they show you who they really are, you might convince yourself that they are just going through a phase or that they will change. Why? Because attachment makes you blind, it makes you hold on even when what you are holding on to is hurting you. The more attached we are to a person, a belief or an outcome, the harder it becomes to see clearly. We start filtering reality through our emotions, through our desires. We stop looking at things as they are and instead see them as we wish them to be. This is why people stay in toxic relationships. This is why we ignore red flags. This is why we keep trusting those who have already betrayed us. It is not that we do not see, it is that we refuse to see. Because seeing would mean we have to let go. And letting go is painful. But attachment is not just about relationships. It clouds our perception in every area of life. If we are attached to an idea of success, we might push ourselves to exhaustion, ignoring the signs that we are losing our peace in the process. If we are attached to being right, we might reject any truth that challenges our opinions. If we are attached to how life should be, we might struggle to accept life as it is. The irony is that the more attached we are, the more suffering we invite. When we are too attached to people, we get hurt when they change or leave. When we are too attached to an identity, we feel lost when life forces us to evolve. When we are too attached to control, we live in constant fear of things falling apart. In reality, nothing is meant to stay the same. Everything in life is temporary. Yet, our attachment makes us resist this truth, and that resistance creates suffering. So how do we free ourselves from this? How do we see clearly? The answer is detachment. Now, detachment does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become cold or indifferent. It simply means you learn to love without clinging, to experience without possessing, to engage without being enslaved. It means you allow people to be who they are without forcing them to fit your expectations. It means you accept situations as they come without demanding that they match your desires. When you detach, you start to see things as they really are. You notice people's true nature, not the version you created in your mind. You recognize when something is no longer serving you, and you have the strength to walk away. You stop fearing change because you understand that everything in life is in a constant state of movement. Look at a river, it flows. It does not try to hold on to any drop of water, and yet it remains full. That is how we must be flowing with life, embracing each moment fully but without attachment. Because the moment you let go of attachment, perception becomes clear. You stop living in illusion and you start living in truth. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to so tightly that it is blinding you? What illusions are you clinging to because you are afraid of what reality might reveal? Let go and see how much lighter life becomes. In a world that is constantly noisy, where everyone is talking, debating, and trying to prove their point, silence has become rare. But silence is not emptiness, it is full of wisdom. It is in silence that the deepest truths are revealed. It is in silence that the answers we seek begin to surface. When something troubles us, our first instinct is to talk about it, to analyze it, to ask others for their opinions. We keep searching for answers outside of ourselves, as if the world can give us the clarity we lack. But have you noticed that the more we talk, the more confused we become? The more we chase answers, the more they seem to slip away. This is because truth does not come through noise, it comes through stillness. Think about a muddy pond. If you keep stirring it, the water remains clouded and you cannot see the bottom. But if you stop, if you allow it to settle, the mud sinks and the water becomes clear. The same is true with the mind. When we constantly react, when we keep engaging in endless thoughts and emotions, our perception remains clouded. But the moment we become still, the moment we allow silence to take over, clarity emerges. Silence is not just the absence of words, it is a state of being. It is when you stop reacting and start observing. It is when you stop explaining yourself and start understanding yourself. It is when you stop looking outward and start looking inward. And when you do this, something magical happens, you start to see. How often have you been in a situation where someone's actions confused you? Maybe they spoke sweetly but acted differently. Maybe they promised loyalty but betrayed you. Instead of trying to argue with them, instead of demanding explanations, what if you simply observed in silence? People reveal themselves more through their actions than their words. Silence allows you to notice the things you would have missed in the noise. There is a reason why wise people speak less. They know that most of what is spoken in the world is unnecessary. Most conversations are filled with ego, with superficiality, with distractions. But silence is pure. It does not manipulate, it does not distort, it simply reveals. When you are faced with uncertainty, instead of reacting immediately, pause. Instead of seeking validation from others, sit in silence. Instead of speaking, listen not just to the words of others, but to the space between them, to the energy behind them. The truth is always present, but we can only hear it when we are quiet enough to listen. Silence also protects your power. Have you ever shared your dreams and goals with others, only to feel discouraged afterward? This is because not everyone is meant to hear your plans. Some will doubt you, some will mock you, and some will even pretend to support you while secretly hoping you fail. When you move in silence, you protect your energy. You allow your actions to speak for themselves. In moments of anger, silence prevents you from saying things you regret. In moments of confusion, silence allows you to reflect before making a decision. In moments of betrayal, silence lets the truth unfold naturally. When you remain silent, you are not weak, you are in control. The most powerful lessons in life are not taught through words. They are experienced in the quiet moments, in the spaces where no noise exists. That is why those who meditate, those who retreat into silence, often return with the wisdom that cannot be explained, only felt. So, if you are searching for answers, stop searching, be still, be silent. Let the mind settle like a calm lake and you will see that everything you need to know has been within you all along. We spend so much of our lives trying to control things, people, situations, outcomes. We hold on tightly, believing that if we just try harder, if we just do more, things will go exactly as we want. But life does not work that way. Life is like a river, it is constantly moving, constantly changing. And the more we resist its flow, the more we suffer. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean you stop caring, it simply means you stop clinging to things that are no longer meant for you. It means you release the illusion of control and trust that whatever is unfolding is happening for your highest good. But why is letting go so difficult? Because the mind fears uncertainty. We feel safe when we believe we are in control. We want guarantees that people will stay, that plans will succeed, that life will unfold exactly as we expect. But the truth is, nothing in this world is permanent. People change, situations shift. What was once important to you may no longer serve you. And the harder you hold on, the more you struggle against life itself. Think about a clenched fist. When you hold on to something too tightly, your hand begins to ache. It becomes stiff, rigid, painful. But the moment you open your hand, there is relief. The same is true for the heart and mind. Holding on to past hurts, old expectations and toxic relationships only create suffering. But the moment you let go, you create space for new possibilities. Imagine you are swimming in a river. If you try to fight against the current, you exhaust yourself. You struggle, you panic, and you make no progress. But if you relax, if you allow yourself to float, the river carries you effortlessly. This is how life is meant to be, flowing, effortless, natural. When you surrender to the flow of life, you stop wasting energy on things beyond your control. You begin to trust that whatever is meant for you will come and whatever is not meant for you will leave. Many of us hold on to the past mistakes, past relationships, past disappointments. But the past is like a heavy rock, carrying it with you only slows you down. Why do we hold on? Because the mind is attached to familiarity. Even when something causes us pain, we cling to it because it feels known. But growth happens when we are willing to step into the unknown, to release the weight of the past and trust that something better is ahead. Letting go also applies to people. Not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Some people are lessons, some are temporary companions, and some are meant to walk with you for a lifetime. But when someone's time in your life is over, do not force them to stay. Do not chase, do not beg. Love them for what they were, be grateful for the experience and move forward. The right people, the right situations, the right opportunities, they will never require force. They will align with you naturally. Letting go is an act of faith. It is trusting that life knows what it is doing. It is understanding that what is truly yours will never be lost, and what is not meant for you will never stay, no matter how hard you try to hold on. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to that is keeping you stuck? Is it an old belief, a painful memory, an expectation that no longer fits your reality? Whatever it is, loosen your grip, breathe, trust, let go and let life flow. You will be amazed at how much lighter, freer and happier you feel when you stop fighting the current and start flowing with it. Life is not meant to be a battle of resistance, it is meant to be a dance of flow. The more we try to control, the more we suffer. The more we cling, the more we lose ourselves in illusions. But when we learn to let go of pain, of attachment, of expectations, of the need to control, we find something far greater, peace. Truth unfolds in its own time. Pain, though difficult, is the doorway to awareness. Attachment blinds us, keeping us trapped in false perceptions. But silence reveals everything. And when we finally release what is not meant for us, we make space for what is. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is trusting that the universe knows what it is doing. It is understanding that whatever is meant for you will never miss you, and whatever is not meant for you will never stay. So be still, let go of the weight that no longer serves you. Trust the flow of life. Because when you surrender to it, you will not only find freedom, you will find yourself.